Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Cool's Interviews. Today we're going to be talking a pretty exciting topic for myself. You guys know me, love reptiles, love snakes, and we actually got in contact with Connor here from Russ Vegas Reptiles, thanks to Matthew from Drunken Cryptids, because at some point I think I sent him some pictures of dinosaur teeth, and he said, "I know someone I got to connect you with," and we are here today. So, Connor, well, first, Matthew, thank you for connecting us, and Connor, thank you for joining. Really
Absolutely,
excited
man.
to
I'm
have
glad
you.
to be here.
For anyone that's just hearing about you, maybe didn't come over from Matthew's show, do you want to tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself, your background, and how
Yeah.
you got into the field of herpetology?
Yeah. Hi guys. I am Connor. I am Russ Vegas Reptiles. Uh, just a little bit, a quick synopsis about me. I've been, I've been involved in kind of the reptile community almost all of my life. My grandpa was a big snake keeper and reptile keeper. They had a whole bunch of kind of exotic pets. So it wasn't a surprise when I took an interest from a really young age, and my parents kind of had to relive their childhood. Because also on my dad's side, my grandma owned a pet store, and so my uncles and my brother, they were all boys, so they collected animals. So it's kind of they weren't shocked when I got into wildlife, especially reptiles, starting with turtles and stuff like that. But yeah, so I started keeping when I was 8. I had abundance of turtles. I had good grades, so my parents kind of just thrusted me into this. They're like, "Hey, this is his hobby. He's a good kid." So, and it just kind of grew from there. So, of course, we're all the generation of Steve Irwin. He had a big impact on me, him, and like Jack Hanna and Jeff Corwin. I was really involved with just the conservation community as a whole. And so, the older I got, the more interest I took into conservation and wildlife education. I actually went to college for it, fisheries and wildlife. And then, while I was a freshman and going into my sophomore year, I actually established the first herpetological society at a university in Arkansas. So I ran with that for a little while, and then had some family issues kind of going on in my life, and I had to take a break from college, and I actually ended up joining the military, um, and I'm still in the military. I'm going my 11th year now, going into my 12th. Um, but during that time, I accidentally got into breeding snakes on 100% accident. I don't like this word, but I rescued a snake. Um, Turned out it was a girl, and I thought it was a boy. And one day I was going to go out of town, and I was cleaning 2 snakes' enclosure. I put them in a tub. I went back to put them both in their enclosure. They locked up. And like 45 days later, I had eggs. And I was like, man, if I can do this on accident, I can definitely do this on purpose. And yeah, I was addicted to buying snakes, breeding snakes, producing more snakes. And then I got back into the wildlife education side of things on a small scale, here or there. And then I continued to breed, kind of made a name for myself going forward. And then I did another birthday party. There's a long break in in my shows, and I did a birthday party with a friend of mine who's a private keeper. And then all of a sudden, from that one party, they just started coming in. I didn't really have a name for myself, other than Russ Vegas, but I kind of wanted that to be a separate entity. And so I came up with Zoodiu, and now I do Zoodius across the state of Arkansas, from birthday parties, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. We do photo shoots, commercials. I mean, we've done boudoir shoots. We've done a lot, and it's been fun. And we have a lot of support within our local community and the state as a whole, to where people always invite us back. But yeah, it's been a great experience for me for doing this for so long, but now kind of being, um, I guess, one of the big dogs, if you want to put it to that. And yeah, it's just a good time, and I definitely don't see myself stopping anytime soon. And hopefully, I can grow into more and maybe do this full time eventually. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. Been 32 years old, and I'm a dad and husband, and it's kind of a family thing. We all kind of are invested in this now, and um, like I said, Matt with Drunken Cryptids. His little boy is really into this stuff too. So I made a friend from that community, and his kid, and that's what it's about: is getting the next generation of reptile keepers to do it morally and ethically correct, so we still have the rights to keep animals in the future.
Yeah, like you said, definitely the generation of Steve Irwin. I know when we were writing our book, me and Sam, our author was like, "Well, who are some people you look up to?" And I definitely said Steve Irwin because, like, I know growing up, me and my buddy Nathan wanted to like have a zoo and like rescue animals and just be with wildlife because of him.
Yeah,
And I think now we're starting to kind of get we have a little bit more of that influence like today as well. It felt like after like Steve and Jeff kind of like bottomed out, like we didn't there was something missing, you know.
yeah,
Um, Also, I can definitely relate. I got a bearded dragon. They I saw her at a PetSmart, and I felt really bad because she was about a year, and of course people aren't going to buy the older ones, and I was like, oh. So I brought her home, and then like 2 months later she laid a clutch of eggs when they told me she was a boy, and I was like, well, hopefully you weren't around a boy, because now I'm going to have a bunch of dragons. But she hasn't, she just lays eggs. So
yeah. That's the thing with females of lizard species is they drop eggs whether they're fertile or not. So just kind of get prepared for that.
oh yeah, she's done it a lot, and usually about clutches of like 20.
Yeah, yeah. I used to breed beardies. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, right now she's calm. She's upstairs just brumating. She'll come out, but she's sleeping for whatever reason right now because it's getting a little cold. So,
Yep.
yeah, whenever she comes out, I just bring her out and we go outside when it's warm or give her a bath and let her run around. But yeah, so I guess was Steve kind of like your main I mean, Steve and Jeff and them, were they
Yeah.
your kind of inspirations to get into the field?
For sure. And like my mom worked for Sam's, which she was kind of like the big pets buyer. So like um, had a little bit more of a personal connection to like Jack Hanna, and
Okay.
so kind of had that. But my grandpa was really, like I said, my grandpa was really big with it, and kind of behind me, you can't really see, but right here, and then right behind the camera, I have a little bit of my grandpa's books from the early 70s through the 90s. And so because my grandma knew that I had interest in this, I had lots of turtles, but I was always catching snakes and stuff too. My mom just didn't let me have snakes when I was a kid. And then, but she knew that I still had the passion for it. So she actually kept all of his books until after he passed. So I have a little bit of him in my room. But then when I kind of started, when Russ Vegas kind of was starting to really blow up, YouTube was really big. And so people like Brian Barczyk and Justin Kabelka, and there's a lot of Tyler Nolan, Chandler's Wildlife. Like there's a lot of people that I still look up to in the hobby. That it's cool. Like because like now I'm like at least social media friends with them. Well, even though that they're on a much bigger scale and they have the influence. Um, so I still do have the people that I look up to in the hobby. Uh, and I don't think that'll ever go away. There'll always be someone that kind of fills that role. I don't know if I really care to fill that role, but I do. I am on TikTok, and I can go to our local reptile expo or even my local Petco, and people are like, "Hey, Connor's here. It's Russ Vegas. Hey, what's up, Russ?" And I'm like, I'm not trying to be an influencer, but because I'm on social media is so heavy here in the state, a lot of the local reptile people, whether they're, not to put in any kind of classification, they're reptile keepers, but they follow me because they think I'm a someone. But I mean, I have been a part of a lot of people's channels, whether people, they spotlight me when I was on Brian Barczyk, who was the face of the community, when he passed away about 2 years ago now. I was on his vlog twice. Um, I don't know if you know who Brian Barczyk is, but
Oh yeah,
yeah, I was on.
yeah. No, I watched Brian a lot. Yeah, that was a
I've watched him since
sad
day
day.
one, so I
Mhm.
had a very close connect. He's actually I have pictures with him on my wall right behind, right there. It was a sad day for us, and it was crazy for me to kind of someone that I really, I mean, he was the next Steve Irwin, and someone I watched religiously every single day for over 10 years. I mean, you start 13, 14 years, and then when he called me on the phone because we did a breeding collaboration, um, I when I tell you I fangirled, like I talk fast already. I was like, Connor, slow down. I'm like pacing in my bathroom. I ended up taking it outside. Like, I mean, I even took a selfie. I'm like, I'm on the phone with Brian. Like, I mean, I fingered. And then when we went up to Utica, Michigan, and we met him, and it was just like it's like we had been friends forever. Like, you know, a lot of people, and he put it out there, and a lot of people have talked about it. It's just like they felt like they knew him because like they saw him every day for 15, 20 minutes every single day, and they thought it's crazy when people think that they have like a friendship with this person because he's been a part of their life for years, to where actually got a real friendship out of it. And so, I mean, I was able to call him on the phone. I mean, I have snakes of his, he's got snakes of mine. Like it was, it was cool. I mean, I was again privileged to be able to actually get to know him and have his phone number and call him when I needed to if I had questions, whether it's about a new species I was getting into or what he thought about me getting a species that maybe he never kept before, which is kind of crazy and didn't happen very often. Um, but yeah, so it's like I think everyone should always have someone that they look up to in every hobby, because every hobby has a niche person that is kind of like the big dog in their world. And I think someone will always step up, whether, you know, Tyler, Chandler, Justin, they go away, someone will kind of rise up. So I kind of got off the topic, but I think.
No, I mean it's good. Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know when I first discovered Brian, but I watched a lot of his videos, so it's really sad when I heard that. Do you plan on getting up to the Legacy now that
So
it's
yeah, so we were actually, so they have like their kind of like their soft opening. They haven't even done like their, I guess, hard launch yet. We will, because one of my best friends is they're snake breeders too up in Michigan, and they've actually known Brian their entire life, personally, like friend, like very close with that family. But we were invited to the kind of like the big launch, the hard launch, the private launch. Um, but we have a baby, you know, we have a 2-year-old, and it's a long trip with a 2-year-old. But we definitely will get back up to Michigan. We'll go to the Legacy for sure. Probably just won't be this year. We'll probably wait till my son's a little bit older to take that trip. Because like I said, some of my closest friends are up there. I've been on their channel, they've been on mine, and they're good people. But we definitely will, just so we can go see them, because our kids are actually, their kid has my birthday, so yeah, it's cool.
yeah, no, I definitely plan on getting up there. I couldn't help but notice your logo. Definitely
Yeah,
looked inspired by something, and I'm 100% for it. It looks super cool.
thanks. It was I drew it on a bar napkin.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. So so I don't think we were friends yet. But last week I lost my first snake ever. Um, you want to talk about old girl, like just like your salamander? The snake that started Russ Vegas. I mean everything. Passed away last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. She's in my freezer. Um, Hopefully I don't get emotional, because I mean she's tattooed on me. She's the snake in my logo. Um, that was hard, man. I probably will get choked up. I'm on. She's been through everything in my adult life, everything. And when I tell you I don't have the best relationship, which is why I kind of joined the Army. She was she was like my first thing that was mine, like that I got. I didn't even have a house. Um, it was sad. It was a hard day for me. But I rebranded at one point, and I was sitting at a bar, and I was like, man, I'm, you know, Russ Vegas, even though it wasn't Russ Vegas at the time. I mean, it was, but it was just a name. And I was like, man, I'm starting to get a little bit of traction. I need a logo. I need more. And so I was literally sitting at the bar, and I was like, man, I need to incorporate the Diamond State. I want to incorporate Monty. If you've noticed, it actually has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo or lettering in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just kind of sat down. I drew on a bar napkin. I went to my tattoo artist, and he just finalized it all for me. I mean, it was a sketchy, very rough, somewhat damp bar napkin, and he made it. He made it come to life. And so yeah, like Russ Vegas was kind of, like I said, I rebranded, but kind of reborn after that. And yeah, so I like it, and it's funny. So you know, we're going to talk probably dinosaurs too, because I know this is like that's your thing. So I'm also like a graphic. I'm a freelance artist, and when Jurassic Park turned 30, I did too, and so I'm wearing my merch drop from 2 years ago, and
I love
yeah,
it.
so I thought it was fitting to
Awesome.
still wear some of my merch, but my dino merch that I did.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, at some point in this interview, we'll definitely get into dinosaurs, because I mean, that's a rabbit hole. I
Well,
talk
I'm down,
dinosaurs
because I
way
mean,
too much.
I can say probably, I mean, every little boy has a fascination. My kid right now is obsessed with dinosaurs, and he's probably watching Land Before Time right now. And I'm not even kidding. The new TV, or I guess it's not new, but it's the TV series that they had a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with Land Before Time. So, but every little boy has a dinosaur, thing at the time. Is that real?
Yeah, it's Spinosaurus.
That's badass. But yeah, I mean, every little boy, especially every reptile keeper as a kid, you know, back then, dinosaurs were reptiles, and like you get older and you start learning more about ecology, and you're like, no, they're warm blooded. They're
Mhm.
like not rhinos and elephants. They're their own. They're their own thing of rough, well, feathered now. Now they have feathers, but yeah, I mean, every little boy has a fascination with dinosaurs. And it's funny, I was excited my freshman year of high school. It was an upperclassman thing, but we had a paleontology, like just a class, like an elective you could take. And I was super excited. I was like, man, I can't wait to get done with all my freshman level courses so I can take that one. And no, they got rid of it. And I was like, come on,
It's
I
like,
just
dang it.
busted my tail to take this for the next year, and I nope. So what would you consider yourself? Would you call yourself like a paleo hobbyist, or do
Ooh,
you go out and look for dinosaur bones or anything?
yeah, I mean, actually, I found this. It's a tip of an Allosaurus tooth.
Oh, Allosauruses are dope.
If
That's cool.
I found that in Canyon City.
No idea where that's at, but
So
apparently
it's
there's Allosauruses there at one point.
yeah, so it's southern Colorado.
Okay.
Um, a good chunk of the Bone Wars happened in that area,
Okay.
and my mom's side of the family's from there. My great grandfather actually helped with the Stegosaurus from that area called Kessler Stegosaurus, named after the Kessler, the guy that was leading it. It's in the Denver Museum right now. And
Really?
so, yeah, dinosaurs, like you were saying, with reptiles being kind of in your blood, it's kind of with me. Like
Yeah.
dinosaurs are there. Like
Yeah.
it's just I have to do it. And I've been on digs with paleontologists. Ken Carpenter helped identify some of my fossils. He was really big in the Denver Museum here. Helped with the rainforests. I was on the dig for the rainforest here in Castle Rock when they were finding. I have those somewhere. I'll also send you a picture. I have like a museum
Yeah.
right over
Definitely send me a
there.
picture.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that's. I wish. I don't know how I never, because like I see it. Like I see them. You can buy them on eBay and stuff. I don't know why I don't have just at least one fossil. Just fine. I just, even if it's a chunk, and I'll even get like a little gold plate. So it's funny. So speaking of that, so there's another dinosaur park. It may even be the same one. I have to double check, because Callum is really into the dinosaur thing, and my wife and I we met through our Jeep community. So we were always wanting to get out, and there's one in Texas with the footprints that's in like
Oh,
the riverbed.
Dinosaur Valley State Park in Glen Rose.
Yeah, and then there's one in Colorado that we both want to go to as well. So it may even be the same one, I'm sure. Um, but that's something that we thought about taking Callum to. Of course, Texas being a little bit closer, so we'd probably go to that one first before we take the 15-hour road trip out there. But I I want to go, not even just for my kid, but I want to go. So I will definitely let you know when we make that trip, because like that is we're definitely doing it. Um, we'll probably just go. We'll probably just do that one first since it's closer. But traveling 9 hours is easier than 15.
Hey, let us know when you get out to Glen Rose. We do have a vlog up from when I was out at Glen Rose. We were doing Billy's kid stuff out there, but I was like, "Oh, we're too close. We gotta go." It's super cool because you can see the footprints of the theropod following the sauropods, and then at one point they intersect. Like it
That's cool.
attacked one of them. But the one here in Colorado is Dinosaur Ridge, and
That yeah, that sounds right.
yeah, it's super cool. There's stuff from the Cretaceous on one side. You drive around. They have a raptor footprint on one point, and then you get to like the main on the west side, and it's Jurassic. So you see like the bulges from like the sauropods or the stegosaurs. But if you're out there, you also got to go to the Morrison Natural History Museum, which is like 5 minutes from it, where
Yeah.
they give you like an hour tour, talk about it, and then they let you actually help with some fossil prep at the end.
That'd be
So
cool. Sam, are you from that area too? Yeah.
Yes, sir, I am.
Nice. Yeah, I got to get out that way just to explore, just to get out there, just to get out there. Like that's Whitney and I's thing is, you know, like when we got married, we got married in the middle of COVID, but when we eloped and it was just us. We were in the middle of the Washita, you know, the Buffalo. Like her and I's things is like, so when we go to Gatlinburg this November, we're some of the place that we're looking at is not in Gatlinburg. Like, I don't know, that's just like our thing. Like, we want to be able to be out in the woods and get a cute little cabin or something like that, away from it. No lights at all. Like, we want to be able to see stars, and that's just our thing. And so we'll definitely, like I said, we will make it out there. Just don't know when yet.
but obviously you do a lot with snakes. Do you have a favorite snake?
So we'll start off with like my flat out, it will never change favorite species, is the anaconda, the green anaconda. But I work with greens and yellows. I'm the last private keeper of the anaconda species in Arkansas. But with that, the Game and Fish has made them illegal, so I cannot use them for educational purposes. Now I can keep them. Like I have 5. I'm very involved in the anaconda community. That is a 2 male yellows. Jazz is my big green right here. I have a big yellow female. She's right there. She's right next to Delta, my falsie. Those are my favorite. I just like them. I like a lot of the history of them because they actually go back to the Titanoboa, which I don't know if you guys know much about the Titanoboa, but Titanoboas are sick. I love it. So they're really misunderstood. They're really I like the way they are in nature. That is like number 2 on my bucket list, is to find one in the wild, green or yellow. But when you break it down, which one's my favorite, I just like to say the genus of anacondas. Sophora, which is actually a male. Sophora was supposed to be a girl, and then like 7 years later, he hit puberty, and I found sperm plugs in his water, and I tried changing his name, but it just didn't feel right. So like this one is Sephora. That's my first anaconda ever. He's a good boy. He's actually right there. There's his face. But I love the anacondas. They have the most unique pupil shape out of all snakes. They're actually like figure 8s like this, because of the way that they live in water. Since they're about 85 to 87% aquatic. Their pupils are shaped like 8s, so when they're submerged underwater and they just poke their nostrils, and just because their eyes are kind of fixed on the top of their head, that top 8 allows them about 180 degrees this way above the water's edge, and then the bottom portion allows about 180 degrees underwater. So that way that they're never, because they're slow, when they're on land, they're very vulnerable. And one cool thing about them is, like, if they do come on land, they're really big muskers not so much in captivity, but they do musk in captivity because it's just, I mean, it's something that's instilled in them, but they smear musk everywhere. So they'll get inside a hole or along like a riverbank or underneath a giant log. They'll musk it up, and the predator will be like, man, this stinks. I'm just going to go away somewhere else. So that way they can either digest their food or shed, or if they're getting ready to breed, they don't want to be on land and get poached because they're not fast. So that's just like one cool thing. But there's just like the tribes in, like, you know, northern South America and the tail end of the Central America. There's just always been all these myths and lores that there's still an 80-foot anaconda out there, and I don't think so. I don't think that there's anything longer than probably maybe a 25-foot anaconda. I don't really foresee there being too many giants. There's not enough food, and there's not big enough food for them to sustain Titanoboa. Because people like to think that Titanoboa is still out there. I don't. The megafauna is just not there. If there were still like the ground sloths and some of the other giant hoofstock that was around during the time of the Titanoboa, maybe. But I mean, capybara is the largest kind of prey item that they would have out there. So that's in their native range. So of course you get into the mountains, Argentine mountains and stuff like that. You start getting alpacas and all that stuff. But as far as like in their native region of the Amazon, there's just not enough big stuff to sustain a large snake like that.
Yeah.
But a favorite species, what's another favorite? I mean, I've started knocking off really cool checklist items for me, like my olive python, diamond python, Dominican red mountain boas. What's another cool stuff? I mean, I finally produced Leachianus geckos, which are the largest geckos in the world. They're about that big. I have 2 babies. They're like right there. I was pretty excited when I hatched them out. I have a Mata Mata turtle. That was another dream list animal of mine. Like, I mean, I've been knocking off iconic animals that I've always wanted. So, I don't know. My list changes a lot, and then it has to change when I get a new species. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say that I have a favorite. I like them all for their own individual, unique species traits. They're all a little different, and some are a little bit more fun because they have a little bit more personality when being handled. I'll say that. So, yeah. Then I have like I'll never own venomous. I mean, she's technically venomous, but she's not life-threatening at all. It's like a bad bee sting. I have my favorite venomous species, but I'll never keep them. But yeah, I don't know. It changes because I get what I want sometimes, and then I need to pick a new favorite. So, but Jazz that's my baby, my big baby. I mean, he's the big green anaconda. I mean, he's super gentle. He's the best. Like I said, I used to take him everywhere. Sephora being my first anaconda, so kind of have a soft spot for him. But Monty was my favorite snake of all. I made a little memorial video for her on my social media, just from when I was a kid, till now. And I'm looking for a place to get her articulated. It's very expensive. So hopefully I can find someone to do that for her. That way I can kind of keep her forever. But until now, she's just she's like right there. That's the reason I'm saying that. But Monty was my favorite. It's just a normal ball python. Just a normal.
Hey, it's about the connection, It's how animals are. They get you at some point, and you're like, it's just amazing, the connection. I will have to say, though, my favorite as well, the anaconda. Sam knows everywhere we go that they offer holding of snakes. I ask about the anaconda. Very, very close to last time. And they were like,
do you want me to get Mickey? I'll get one out for the show.
If you want, like, that would be, I love it. One of my dreams is to go to the Amazon and swim with an anaconda.
Yeah. It's number 2 on my list. On my bucket list.
Yeah, and I saw Forrest Galante doing it, and I was like, dang, look at him. He's doing it.
I will meet him one day. I'm speaking it into the universe. I will meet Forrest one day. Yeah, I'm like trying to get my little feelers out there. Like, I want to meet him so bad. I love his just outlook on the world. Like, I watch a lot of his stuff. Like, are these animals really extinct? He's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, I love it. Love it. There hasn't been found in 50 years, but there's out there. He's like, the evidence shows that they're not where they're found is still there. I'm like, love it. Please show that the thylacine is still around. The Tasmanian tiger. Please show me that it is still alive.
Papua New Guinea, maybe.
So I will get out Mickey. He's the easiest one to handle right now because he's not the biggest, but he's still. Give me one second. So here is Mickey. This is one of our yellow anacondas. I think he's about 7 or 8 years old. Let's try to see if we can't get his pupil. Kind of show the audience. Of course, the ring light is making him.
Hey, if you want to send a picture too, I can edit it in because it's all pre-recorded too.
Yeah, I can. I'll definitely get you some pictures. Whether, like, if you want to do like a promo shot or something.
Okay.
I actually have a big picture with me and Jazz. I can send you outside. It's a really good photo.
Okay.
Kind of shows you his size a little
Awesome.
bit. But yeah, he's a good boy for a yellow, because yellows are typically a little bit spicy. He's an F3, so he's had 3 generations of being bred in captivity. So a lot of his wild side is out for a yellow. Now, when I got Sephora, Sephora was an F1, and Sephora was spicy. The female yellow, she was pretty. She's worse, but she's manageable. But yeah, anacondas are the best. I think, honestly, yellows are the prettiest. There's just something about a green anaconda that's iconic. So I love their side patterns. Yellows, and like I said, yellows are prettier. Greens are just iconic. So
Oh yeah. Well, greens are so big too. Like you see them and you're just like, man, they're so massive.
yeah. It's
like,
funny because Jazz he's kind of looking. He's not normally in his. He's in a different spot than he normally is. He's kind of in the front of the enclosure right now. Oh, I don't know if you know. Maybe my mic just picked that up, but Mickey just farted. So my mic might have picked it up. But yeah, anacondas are the best, and I can bring snakes out as we kind of talk and all that stuff too. That way, we got some stuff to look at as we talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll put Mickey up and we can kind of move on.
Okay. I just see the one right there.
So that's Sephora, and you can kind of see it probably on the camera. So I was telling you about how they musk. So he musked right here. So like keeping anacondas is all about cleaning glass and cleaning the side of the enclosure, because it's just a waste, since they have water bowls, but they're not big enough for me to soak, because I soak them weekly. So they smear it because they're on land, and so they smear it makes them feel comfortable in their little home. So every time I clean it, they're like, this smells clean. So they're really gross. They're not. If you want to clean snake shit every single day, weekly, I mean, get an anaconda. Especially females. Females are way worse. Way, way worse. Yeah. All right. Next topic.
I mean, I guess we can move on to this one.
Yeah.
Because we haven't talked about it before.
Was this the one that was in Africa?
Yeah, somewhere I think around supposedly the Congo. My issue with it is there's like no real way to tell size in the picture.
Yeah, this was like from I've seen this. This is from like a military person who took this photo. They're super accredited. No reason to lie. Near the Congo. With no scale. I mean, the giants that you're looking at. So you can take the retic out, which is the world's largest snake. It's the longest. It's the longest snake in It's the longest snake in the world. Anacondas being the heaviest bodied. You have the African rock python and the Burmese python, which are like the giants in that remote area. I mean, because he said he was like at 200 feet or something like that. Again, I mean, you're talking something that would require megafauna to eat. Now, you do have like the Cape water buffalo, and I mean, there's hoof stock out there, but that snake wouldn't be that exposed, not during the day for sure. And so based off basic snake ecology and the way that they move, snakes aren't going to be in the wide open like that, especially during the day. They just don't do that. Snakes know that they're vulnerable in the open. Snakes almost every single time will follow hard lines. So, or cover. Like you find a snake like that. That's why, like I've seen this photo a lot. I want to believe that there. I mean, it's hard for me to believe though. If I want to just be straight up real, it's hard for me to believe that photo.
Yeah,
especially from the height that they were, at the speed that they were going, to get a frame, to get a shot like that. I just don't, based on the picture itself, doesn't make sense for a snake to be out like that.
Yeah, and that's my issue too with it, has always been like the scale. There's just nothing. There's like no like definitive trees or anything around it. And it's super like blurry. This could be like a foot-long snake, like for all we know.
Yeah, that could be a tiny little. That could be a molehill to like the northwest of that photo, and there could be a little bit of raised dirt, and that could be a worm snake for all we know.
Right. Yeah, it could be super, super tiny. And when you're researching like the cryptids and stuff, I always think because maybe it's the paleontological side or whatever, but like, what are they eating? How are they surviving in a population? That kind of stuff. Now, we're still finding like new things. There was the
Yeah,
northern green anaconda.
I know.
We
We got the 6th new species of anaconda. I love it.
I know. When I was growing up, it was just the green or the yellow.
Yeah, I mean, because at first they were just like subspecies, or
Mhm.
because you have the one that starts with like an S. I've never been able to pronounce it. But it's a smaller green, and then they thought that there was a green yellow hybrid, and it turned out to be its own species. And um, yeah, so yeah, when that came out and it was published, I probably got that 50 times that day. People send me that 50 times because everyone, especially here in Arkansas, especially within my immediate friend group, my immediate reptile friend group, I mean, my inbox was blown up with the news of that. And I thought I shared it. I mean, I was like, I love it. I was like, now
Oh
I
yeah,
got to catch them all, but Arkansas, I can't anymore. So I got to go to like Missouri or Oklahoma if I want to keep them all.
yeah. No, it was super cool, and it's interesting too that the bigger ones are kind of regionalized up there. It's a little bit denser jungle too, which makes sense. A little less
Yeah,
tempting for
those animals
hiking
aren't
and
being
stuff.
hunted for their meat. Yeah, and that's why you'll always have the freaks in nature. You always will. Um, you'll get like the patternless in the wild, which can be bred in captivity, but you'll or the ones that are almost melanistic. You still have the paradoxes and the mutations that is happening naturally. But I mean, when you kind of get that gigantism, like that photo, because there's another one that's in the Amazon. They're saying it's a giant. It's a titanoboa, and I'm just like, look at that. Look at that giant snake. There's nothing in South America that big.
Mhm.
I mean, it'd need 15 capybara to, and I don't even know if that would do it. I mean, that's like feeding Jazz pinky mice or fuzzies. I mean, that'd be nothing. I mean, he'd barely make a dent. And then the next day I could feed him a 6-pound rabbit and he'd be like, okay, there we go. But I I want to believe that there's something like that. Just the reality of it just isn't there for me. Um, Especially with that old photo from the Congo. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. I would love it to be, but it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, that's me with just anytime because people know I love prehistoric animals. If anything, I like just give me something prehistoric, I will digest it. I
Yeah,
love that type of stuff. So people are always like, I get so many megalodon things, and I'm like, none of the fossils are even close to like our time. Like they're
is the megalodon
millions of
still
years
alive?
old. No. I will say
Why not?
definitively no. Well, I think the youngest tooth was like 3 million years old. Like it's still super old. We would see it because they were very coastal animals. Like you find them in a lot of areas now that are like there's a huge area in the Mexican desert that you can just find megalodon teeth because it used to be a shallow ocean.
Hmm.
They're hunting wells.
Yeah.
They're the biggest thing too. People will show you pictures and they look like a big great white shark, and I'm like, well, they're not even closely related. Uh,
Are they
like,
not?
no, not at all. The new studies show that they probably had a body plan more similar to a lemon shark, like a
Hmm.
giant lemon shark.
Yeah, I
So,
mean the Meg made it look like it was a giant great white shark.
oh yeah, hey, and you know what? I'm fine with like movies and stuff. Like I've had Steve Alton on the show. Like he wrote the Meg. I went he
Oh, that's cool.
had us go down and see the premiere before it came out and stuff. Um, yeah, Meg's definitely not out there now. Comparing two snakes though,
Yeah.
anacondas versus you talked about the reticulated. Have you worked with reticulated, and what is the difference in their personalities?
Oh, a lot of, yeah. So I have Scarlet. Um, she is worked up right now because it's generally feeding day, and I mean, she's right there. So she's wanting to eat, and she's very active at nighttime. So I will not be getting her out. She's very, very, very food motivated, which is a retic thing. Um, I I'll send you a video. There's some on my TikTok. I can throw food in the air and she will grab it out of the air. Night and day differences. Night and day. Not even close. I mean, retics are very intelligent for a snake. Very, very, very intelligent. You start, like I said, you want to start talking about some of the, I mean, are very arboreal. They are found in caves. Very arboreal for even a heavy-bodied snake. She is a super dwarf, so that's as big as she's going to get. From Garrett Hartle at Reach Out Reptiles. So you have mainland retics that can get 27 feet long. So we're going to go into this. So there's another guy in the reptile hobby that I don't necessarily support. His name is Jay Brewer. You've probably seen him on Facebook. He reaches out to almost every person in every niche community he's the clickbait king. So his retics are this big. I mean, he'll be laying in a dog pile of retics, 15, 20, and they're irritating each other. He's just dragging them, and they're just dragging them on the floor. He just gets them as big as he can, punches out, as many babies as he can. He's not an ethical person in the hobby, but he's the best at clickbait, so he gets the most views from everyone in the reptile hobby. Not someone you want to look up to as a retic keeper. They're in the wild. They're thin. They're very long. Now they're still big. Now don't get me wrong. I mean they're still this big. But when you think of anacondas, especially big females, my turtle's clicking in the background. When you get anacondas, when you get females that are this big around, bigger than basketball, much bigger than like a beach ball, that's where you have the king of weight versus the king of length. In her case, the queen of length, especially with females being the biggest. But temperament-wise, again, you start getting to that F1, F2, F3 generations where, you have, Jazz being an F3, Mickey being an F3, bred anaconda. A lot of that wild side has kind of been bred out. While retics they think like she can get, like, if she didn't have like a locking mechanism, she could figure out a way to use her body, press it up against the side of glass, slide that glass door. I mean, she remembers. It kind of comes back to that line in Jurassic Park, where they test the lines, when testing out the fences, and they remember, that part. Retics, as far is one of the non-venomous snakes going, like very, very, very intelligent. I mean, she's looking for the weak spot in the glass every single day, and she knows because she rubs it. You can see it right there. She rubs it constantly. So she's got mulch and dirt and stuff in there, but she rubs it every day because that's the part that flexes. And it's glass. I mean, it's thick glass, but it's the part of the slide that moves at that corner where the glass fits in that slider. So, but they eat everything. Retics eat everything. Bats, because they live in caves. They're found in caves. They don't refuse meals ever. And they just always food motivated. When you got anacondas that are generally pretty placid, retics have the traditional S position when they're going to strike. They're very springy. Anacondas don't do the S shape. They could look at you right here, but then all of a sudden they're just going to be like whack to the side. They don't really come forward unless, like for me, like I feed them face to face. So I'll put their food item in front of their face, and of course they'll get it. But like they're very known for sideways move. They strike from the side. They don't hardly ever come from the front. So it takes a little bit of finesse when you're handling anacondas. Like it's not like you just pick them up. They're touchy. They're very touchy. Well, retics are very springy, and they'll come at you. So with retics, as far as like, and even in just if I'm selling a ball python to somebody, I'll be like, hey, every few months, change up their, take everything out, rearrange it. It's good for their mental stimulus. Retics, big time, big time. I may not change it up a whole bunch, but I might put a completely different branch in there, or I might move, just me moving a climbing surface, like with their vertical or the horizontal branches with a new water bowl. Like, I try to change up everything just so they can think a little bit. It's just good for them. So, the intelligence levels with retics are much higher than a lot of snakes, especially with anacondas. They're pretty lazy. So, yeah. Hopefully that was kind of your answer. It's just like, yeah, they're not similar, at all.
Right, and they usually just get compared because they're like the big two
Yeah, the
out there.
giants.
Huge snakes. Now retics, and I think it's something that even Forrest has talked about. Uh, Actively hunting people in the wild.
Snakes don't think like that. They're not that smart.
It's just like sharks. We don't have rogue sharks.
Yeah, they just don't think like that. Snakes aren't dumb, but they're not that smart. So they don't look at us as a prey item. And almost every single time someone gets bit, I mean, I got 80 snakes. Of course I work with babies, and I have some snakes that are imports. Long term captive, but they're imports. So they're F0. They're wild caught animals, and they bite. But people don't put that out there. I don't post anything controversial on my social media. I want to be kind of like the fun parts of being a reptile keeper. Like, hey, look, we got a new animal. Like, hey, look, we're cutting eggs. Like, hey, I'm changing up. I will never post another feeding video. You won't ever see me do that again. I get lots of views, but it's the wrong types of views that I want. So I want to just kind of be like, reptile keeping can be fun. It's not boring. I don't know, try to get new people. Not only is it new sales, but it's like just getting people into the hobby, try to eliminate fears to what I can with a little bit of education here and there, but just kind of upbeat and fun. Retics can be dangerous because, she's a super dwarf. She's not big at all, but bad bites happen. Like my giant carpet python out there, my coastal carpet, bad. And then Val, my giant boa, she's the biggest snake I have in the room. I got bit by her because she had do you know what parthenogenesis is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she had a litter with no dad. Mm-hmm. So I had a partho litter last year. I was like, hey, I'm about to go to a conference for work. I got to get these babies out of there. And she bit me. I mean, her head is that big. I mean, it felt like a cinder block hit me hard. But then Maleficent, she's bitten me twice in the years that I've had her. And that sucked. It was bad. Two bad bites. My worst bites ever. Excuse me. And but yeah, owning giant snakes can be sketchy. Jazz is he's a gentle giant. They say Burmese pythons are gentle giants. I've never worked with a more chill snake than Jazz. But yeah, when it comes to snakes like sizing you up, we all know that story. My grandpa, he's heard that story since the 60s about the lady sleeping in bed. The vet said it's sizing you up. They just don't think like that. They know they can't eat a person. Now there has been, again, retics that have swallowed people, but mind you, these little people, they talk about like island gigantism and stuff like that, where the people are generally small. Island people are not very big, and you have these tiny little Asian from Indonesia, where these little old ladies or children are not big already from the start. You look at Americans, we're kind of big people, and then you have these small groups of different Asians from Indonesia, and accidents happen. But I mean, those are also wild animals. But that story that has been circulating for 70 years, like it's a story. It's not. They don't do that and I can prove to you with a little bit of science. So what are reptiles? Like what's the biggest difference between reptiles and a mammal?
Well, reptiles are cold-blooded.
Bingo. That's what I wanted to hear. So reptiles are ectothermic. They need an external heat source. What are we? What do we maintain every day, all day? The same body temperature, right? Mm-hmm. So this lady who was letting her snake sleep with her didn't have a heat source now, right? It's out of its enclosure. It doesn't have a heat pad. Doesn't have like a heat lamp or anything like that. And it's in your bed with you. Not only are you thermoregulating 98.6 degrees, now you're under the covers, just making it a little bit more warm underneath there. And we've seen snakes bask in the wild, right? So, we see them, sometimes they're stretched out, but, you'll see them kind of coiled up, right? Thermoregulating. Would you want to thermoregulate in a circle? Or like me, I'm 6'2". Would you want to stretch out your entire body and warm up? Would you want a little tiny sliver of a corner or, of a coil? Or would you want to get over half of your body warmed up?
Right.
Over half your body, right?
Yeah, more.
So the snake thinking, oh, it's sizing you up. It's not. No. Snakes will go off food if their husbandry is wrong. Just the basics is off. If it's off, not eating. And ball pythons get a bad rep. I don't have any snakes that go off food at all. And like I'm a breeder, these things aren't like the most crazy, but they have all the actual basics. And I have rack systems to my right and to my left right now. And but none of them go off food. They have all of the basics that are being checked. Now you remove that. They don't have a consistent water bowl. They don't have a consistent heat source. They're not on. They don't want to be on the carpet. They don't want to be in covers. They don't want that. You're stressing that animal out to no extent, and you're now the only heat source that it has. So yeah, it's going to stretch out because it's going to want to get warm. So that story, which is a myth, it's not real. Even if it was, it's like the game Telephone. It's been blown up and turned into this thing that PETA's ran with. It's just not true. They don't look at us as accidental bites happen. Yeah, because either if you have something with pits like an emerald tree boa or a green tree python or a ball python or something like that locks on with a heat signature, if your hand's warmer than the prey item, it's going to miss. It's going to bite you. But even snakes that don't, like anacondas or rat snakes that don't have heat pits, the accidents happen. You're too close to the prey item, it misses. It happens. They do it in the wild. They miss in the wild. You're going to get me on a tangent. Because I hate that story. Hate it. I talk about it in almost every zoo to you. That question gets brought up. And I will always talk about it. And I will always give them the example. But I hate that story because it's circulated for 70 years. And it's with a little...
And it's just been worse with social media. Because I swear I see it like 10 times a week probably. It's just like, share it again. Here it is. Another person.
Yep. Another person that, grandma and granddad... they snakes are bad. Snakes are the devil. Then I'm going to hell for sure.
There's Meg.
See, you don't need that. Just send it here. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's amazing how
big
thick.
tooth.
Yeah, they're thick. It might.
And like,
I
have fished from Alaska to South Florida. I've caught sharks. That's a big shark tooth.
Probably like a 25, 30 foot Meg, kind of.
So what's the biggest? What's the biggest? That what they think it has been out there.
As far as like old time, like max size.
Yeah, based on tooth. So they're gonna roughly put it in whatever part of the shark's jaws where they think it came from. What is from your world? What do they think the largest Meg is?
As far as overall body length, with the because they did the recent study with, they actually have like spinal discs that fossilize,
Yeah,
and so they estimated like up to 80 feet. If it's like a limit, like it actually grew in length, because for a while there, it kind of shrunk back down to like 40 to 50 feet, and it was like a weird kind of bulbous, like poor beagle type of shape. But yeah, they've kind of cylindered it out, and I always was like, growing up, you're like, yeah, it's a big great white, like it's a cool like image.
yeah.
But when you like dig into like the fossils, as far as like the jaw structure, to me, I was like, well, it just seems like it wouldn't have that look. And I'll send you some of the paleo I was doing with Megs and stuff. But
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that, because that was just like Titanoboa. Is they have that vertebrae of it, and now they're thinking that it actually was a little bit further down, which means it makes it even, because it was estimated to be like 55, 58 feet, and now they're thinking that the Titanoboa is even bigger. And I'm like, again, there's something that would support that if that was in real life. Like if that was living today, just could support a bigger snake than that.
yeah, like how are you gonna feed it? Now, I know there's been some studies where Titanoboa may be more of like a piscivore, like eating more fish.
Yeah.
As far as like they were doing the studies with the teeth and stuff. You've heard of like Visuki, the one from Asia, I think is where that one was found.
The name is familiar, but to say I'm confident, no.
Let's see.
I've heard it probably somewhere, and maybe it's from college or Discovery Channel. I'll let you look. I'm gonna grab another snake just so we can get one out.
Okay.
Not the one that was like also in parts of Australia too, or am I thinking of another one?
No, this one.
Where it's like last sighting was like in Australia. before the like tribes people like took it out or something.
Well, Australia just had a ton of different reptiles. Like they had
Hmm.
Varanus, which was, well, that's the genus, but Megalania is like the common name. And then they had like land crocodiles that fought it. Like Australia is just like Mad Max
So
24/7.
when I tell you like going to the Amazon is my number 2, going to Australia is number 1.
Yeah,
Shocker.
I
I didn't know that.
I would love to go. We got some friends out there we've made in the Billy world,
Hmm.
and
So
some great
this,
coloration there.
so this is a very, very good example of the Great Basin gopher snake. I mean, to breed her would be, oh. So she's one of my Zoodio animals. She's amazing. And one thing I really like about these is like their ability for vocalization. You know, they're really big on growling, big on huffing, because they're related to the pine snake. They're related to the I just lost it. The pine snakes in the why did I just draw a blank? Pine snakes, gopher snakes, and you guys have them too. What are they?
Bull snakes.
Bull snakes. Bull snakes.
Okay.
So I would
Whereas
like to get,
Coloradans like to call them rattlesnakes because
No.
we get them so
So-
many.
so
They
that's
like
the
to
thing with
imitate
their
them.
coloration out in your region is like you have a lot of rattlesnake species, and so their scales are keeled just like a rattlesnake. They rattle their tail just like a rattle, but
And
then
they'll
they
pose.
bluff. Huh?
Yeah, they like pose. I've seen the bull snakes posing out
Yeah.
here.
So they'll open their mouth. They'll start growling. I mean, and the way they eat is to feed her is incredible. I mean, so just like false water cobras, is they overpower their prey. So it's like it is very much still alive. Actually, another very cool animal that I have is now I'm very pleased. Which checkmark animal is I have an indigo snake. I have a Texas indigo, which is a threatened species that I have now, which is incredible to own. I didn't think I'd ever own one. That to say I get to work with a threatened species too in captivity is good for not only for future science, whether I get into the breeding and been able to see if I can't work with the Texas Fish and Wildlife or something like that maybe one day and do some kind of program. The fact that they're threatened and people in captivity there cannot own them. So, but yeah, her name is Rattles. So she's super cool. If I were to get into breeding, she's a prime example. She's a very clean, I have a ring light, but she's yellow. And then her reds are, of course, they're being washed out right now, but are red.
Yeah,
She's awesome.
Well, and do you
I
want
love
to
watching her
show?
eat because she just beats it up.
Yeah, do you want to show like her head just to show? Because it's very similar, obviously, to the bull snake. The difference, obviously, between the bull and the rattler, you can tell with the head. Like it's not going to be that kind of like diamond triangle shape like in the vipers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have lots of bulls that get into the chicken coop and take eggs.
Yeah, I love bull snakes. We had one near my elementary school, and it was like 5.5 feet long. Like it was the biggest bull snake I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, and so she's almost full grown. I'd say I could breed her right now if I had a male. But I don't need to breed everything here. I have my animal ambassador, so I don't have a big want or desire. She was donated for my Zoodio, which is another thing which is kind of cool because, there's other wildlife educators that, do reptile shows, but they're, bearded dragons, they're ball pythons. I kind of want a true Zoodio experience. So, I have things like her and the indigo snake and my Malaysian rat snakes and giant blood pythons. And, I have my lychee geckos, it's like a big crested gecko, but giant. And so I want my families and the people that I interact with to like get a really cool experience with things that they won't generally see in Petco or PetSmart or even out of zoo. Because my two biggest, big breeding project that I'm doing is my Malaysian rat snakes, which are I have the only ones in Arkansas. I
That's
can't show
super
them.
cool.
I can maybe show the female. The male will bite my face every time.
Don't do that.
He will go for my face every time. He is the most beautiful snake. I got so much love throughout all my social media when I posted him. His name is Johnny because I'm constantly saying Johnny be good, because he's terrible. Beautiful, but man, he is not a handleable snake. I'm working on him. He's gotten somewhat better, but he will still after a few minutes he'll go for my face. He'll be like, "All right, I'm done." He's one I'm not sure he calls me dad in snake language because he's something else. I mean, I have a blood python that's she's terrible. She was not handled at all, no way. And she's also one that's, I mean, she's a blood python, but I also have 3 others that are handleable, and they're fantastic. I'll show you one that's it's a morph, but probably the only one. I say probably. There's no more blood python breeders in Arkansas, so I'm hoping to kind of fill that niche with the cool genetics that I have. But he's a Batik blood python and stunning. He might bite at the camera. I can feel him tensing up. He's absolutely beautiful. Het T negative albino.
Wow.
Yeah, look at the pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty sick. Yeah, my best friend who's actually out in Virginia, he's a snake breeder too. He bred him. Yeah. He's something else.
So cool.
So hopefully in 3 to 4 years he'll be ready, and I'll put him into the matrix stuff, which is another like kind of pattern mutation. Yeah, make some Batik matrices, which will really jumble up the pattern. Yeah, he's going to bite. Here, I don't want to stress him out. So I do have some questions for you though, some dino questions.
Well, before we get to dinosaurs,
See, you're tricking me. Oh, what is this?
this
Oh,
Vazuki.
this is the Meg stuff, huh?
Yeah, so Vazuki, this is the snake they found out of India. It's purported to be about the same size as Titanoboa, though some people that have done some research say it's significantly lighter than Titanoboa, but maybe could get as long.
Which would make sense. I mean, there's a lot of snakes out there are more slender body but long. So, I mean, it would make sense if you had something that was closely related to the retic, because everything has gotten smaller since back then. You know, our air levels are a little bit different. So it makes sense that, you know, through evolutionary chain, somewhat stayed the same but got smaller.
Yeah,
That would make sense.
What's interesting about this one is the branch of snakes that went extinct. I think the last one died off in the Pleistocene.
Okay.
So there's no living relative of this snake, but it was just massive. Because growing up, the biggest was like, what was the biggest prehistoric snake before Titanoboa? Everyone just like made it look like a giant python. Let me figure out. What's your questions while I'm looking?
All right, so it's a fun one. So, what as far as dinosaur movies that are out there, most accurate, least accurate?
Most accurate? I mean that's very hard. Are we just talking like big budget? I mean, because Jurassic Park, I think, as far as accuracy goes, they still try, especially Jurassic Park for the time. Was pretty accurate. Today, obviously, there's a lot that's changed, but at least they're kind of just animals. Jurassic World, that trilogy, I hated because it was like superhero dinosaurs. Like they didn't feel like
I didn't
animals.
care for the Indoraptor. I didn't care for Indominus. Yeah, that was another thing I didn't care for.
And then the Giganotosaurus didn't look like a Giganotosaurus. Like I was like, what is that supposed to be? Like I don't even know.
Yeah, and the fact that they would have teamed up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, if you're gonna do a team up, the fan bases that been each other's throats are Spinosaurus and Tyrannosaur, have them team up and fight the Indominus.
And that's another one is like, I was Jurassic Park 3 was crazy. I know I've watched documentaries about the Spinosaurus from the info that we had during Jurassic Park 3 to now, that they looked very different. We know that now, that they didn't, that the Spino would have never won against T-Rex.
I mean, in the water, because Spinosaurus was
A
a
fish eater.
huge animal.
Yeah. I thought in JP3, I thought the Spinosaurus was really cool. I mean, he looked like an apex predator.
Mhm.
Not to say he still wasn't, but not against the T-Rex.
Yeah, I got my Spino JP3 model.
There you go.
Yeah.
I had one with like the slashed ribs for a long time.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I
it had,
have
the button, the bite taken out of it. I have
have
like
that
all of the
somewhere.
Jurassic Park stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I got a bunch. Yeah, I mean that one. A lot of people give it heck for the design for the JP3 Spino. But again, we weren't working with a lot of material back in 2001 because the best material we had got blown up in World War II.
I
And
My
yeah,
wife's
which
always like,
stinks.
do you think we're over fossils right now? I'm like, probably. But
Yeah,
Arkansas only
100%.
has like a couple of famous dinosaurs. Like, we have a really big mastodon. A lot of mastodons come out of Arkansas. And then we have the Arkansaurus, which, from the civilian side, I work for the North Little Rock School District. And so we have like the Game and Fish come out, and then the Department of Education. And so they bring in like some Arkansaurus fossils and talk about the mastodons that are found. Because like, I'm from Northwest Arkansas. And in Fayetteville, I think I was in college. So this was like 2012, 2011, 13 at time. And like a giant, they were rebuilding the highway outside of Fayetteville, which is the hub, like, the University of Arkansas. And they uncovered all of these mastodons in this pit, in a culvert. And they just went down a little bit further, excavating for the construction work. And they're like, hey, we need to stop. And the geological, I don't know, it was a huge site. The geological survey people were there. It was a spectacle. And so we had like the geologist students that were at Arkansas Tech, and my department is fisheries and wildlife. Like, they were all going out there, and it was a whole thing. I thought it was pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, there's definitely fossils everywhere. It's just depends on the what is preserved there as far as rock layers and stuff. And like, yeah, for some reason the East Coast, on that part of the inland sea, just doesn't preserve really well in the Cretaceous. It's really weird, but there's definitely some signs of some big theropods, maybe Acrocanthosaurus size. If you go out to North Carolina, you can see Acrocanthosaurus, or Oklahoma. One of their museums has it.
Really.
Yeah. As far as least accurate, I mean, I know Tammy and the T Rex is pretty not accurate. Um,
Sam smiled.
Jurassic Dead, not very accurate. Yeah, we've watched a lot of terrible B movies. Like,
I watch a lot of B. My wife hates that I watch B movies. Oh, so I follow a couple paleontologists, or I think one's probably like a paleo hobbyist as well. But then I watch Hudson on TikTok. I think his name is Hudson, or something like that. He's got a very nice voice for narration.
I'm not on TikTok, so I have no idea.
You need to get on TikTok, dog. I'll send you a screenshot of him. You might know him just through your work. See, I know he's not just on TikTok, but he's got a very nice voice for voiceovers. He's like, and now we're in the Badlands of Mine. I don't like, stop. Just keep talking, dude. And then there's Dino Guy. He's probably a little. I don't know how old you are. He's definitely younger than me. And I'm 32. But he's really big into, like, that's what he's dedicated his people ask him questions. He talks about it. He brings out a book. He brings out like you just pulled out the JP3 Spino. Like, he'll pull that out and be like, didn't look like he's got a fun TikTok, like a very fun TikTok. So you need to get on TikTok and at least follow those guys, because I'm sure there's a whole, and those are just two dinosaur people that I follow, and it's just because I think they have good TikToks.
Yeah.
And it's probably more for entertainment than anything. So you may be like, these guys suck. But one's at least an actual paleontologist. The other one just likes dinosaurs like you. But you need to get on TikTok, and then I'll follow you. You can follow me. You know, help each other
Right. Yeah. 65, another one. At some point, I'll have to talk about that. Not very accurate.
Is that the one with Kylo Ren? Yeah, I didn't care for that one.
It's like, why is there a Phasaelasuchus like just hanging out in the Cretaceous and it's Tyrannosaur size? Like, it makes no sense.
And then the new one I haven't seen. Well, I haven't actually seen the new Jurassic World yet either.
It's really good.
Yeah, the
So,
design's
my
much
kid got
better.
sick, and then my wife got sick, and then our babysitter couldn't watch our kid, and I was just like, man, it's about to be out on like Prime any day now. And then I haven't seen the new Primal one.
Oh, Primitive War.
Yeah, it looks good. Is it not good?
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
At parts it's kind of comical, but
And yeah, we were talking about it, and he's like, yeah, it definitely could be on the Sci-Fi Channel. Like, and at the end, it's just like a video game broke. It was wild. Some of the designs aren't terrible. Not how I would have made them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The accurate designs, like Walking with Dinosaurs, the new one did pretty good. I didn't like it as a series. Yeah. Prehistoric Planet, though, that's like my go-to as far as accuracy right now. That was so good.
So that one's on like Apple, right?
Yeah, Apple.
Okay, because there was one. I don't have Apple TV, and I was like, I can only watch like 45 seconds of them on YouTube. Like, I'm like, this sucks.
No, I definitely recommend Prehistoric Planet if you can get a chance to watch that.
I'm Taming the T-Rex for a B movie.
Yeah.
Tammy and the T-Rex is a wild movie.
Well, that's just like, you know, there was another dinosaur movie that came out not too long ago, and I was like, and they just looked they just didn't, it's like they didn't try. What? Well, now it's going to bug me. They just didn't look good. What was it? It's not like within the last 2 years. It's been a couple years. It's like the graphics sucked.
I'm trying to think.
Maybe it was that 65.
Yeah, 65 was, the designs were just, I didn't even know.
I did not care. And what is it? Adam Driver? That's his name. Yeah, I could only one. I think for me, it's like I can only see him as Kylo Ren, and I think that's what, because I'm a big Star Wars nerd. Like, I got Star Wars stuff all over. I literally have Star Wars helmets above my Tegu.
Well, see, just another reason to go to the Roswell Festival, because they have a bunch of Star Wars stuff there all the time during the festival.
So I have my Shadow Trooper, you know, like the Black Stormtroopers. I have a whole armor set.
Sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm trying to get in the 501st.
I mean, there's a group of people that do Empire stuff, so you could probably.
That's the 501st.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to get in it though. Like, they're picky. Like, if your like shoulder is like half an inch down, they'll be like, fix it, and then you have to resubmit and go through all this whole thing. It might take 6 months, and then you'll get your TK number, and I'm just like, yeah, just a nerd thing for me. But one day I'll get in the 501st, because ours is called the Diamond Garrison out of Little Rock. So one day, it's just not high on the to-do list right now. This is a lot of work. So
I don't doubt it.
Sorry.
Yeah, now I'm going to look more into that Asian snake. Might look more into that, because I mean, for a whole, I mean, I know things die off on the lineage all the time, but I have to look more into, because, you know, like the boa constrictor and anacondas are very closely related, but they look nothing alike. You know, they're both, anaconda means water boa, so like both have live young, roughly in the same areas, inhabit the same region. So it's like somewhere down the line they just split off. So I'm curious to know, kind of, I guess I'd look more into titanoboas. I mean, I'm sure that there's probably a cool poster out there, but I might look into that Asian species too, because because like there's nothing that comes close to the retic in that region. So that'd be another one. But I mean, I can show off another cool boa while we're kind of talking stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh, so the Dominican red mountain boa, who's like razorback red, is in shed. So, but I'll get out another Australian snake. This is another kind of like pinnacle animal in the hobby, is an olive python from Australia. She is still itty bitty. She's gonna get probably 10, 11 feet.
What's the big python from Australia?
So these get big. Carpets are pretty big. I think those are like really the two big ones. Scrubs get big. Scrub pythons.
That's
Yeah, that's the big one. I mean, I had to save for this snake. I saved. Scrubs are even more. So if that tells you something, well, I'll own one day. Maybe hopefully prices will come down in the next year or two, because I don't feel like spending over 4 numbers for a snake again right now. She would not like that. Because she was one of the most expensive snakes I've bought in a long time. Jazz was more. I paid for Jazz as a sub-adult, so he was over four numbers, but I haven't paid that in a long time. And she was one I just, I was like, I gotta have one. Got to, and I kind of just was like kept putting money aside, and I was like, man, it still sucks sending that money. Like, it still sucks. Like, but yeah, super awesome. These will get prettier with age. They keep that just same color, but they just in the sun, like, she really does have like just an overall shine, not like a rainbow shine, but like just a green shimmer. Like, she's really pretty, and she's very sweet for an olive too, which is awesome. Like, a lot of the times when you see like snakes, and one cool thing about these is they have like reverse heat pits, so it's like they're not at the front and they're on the bottom jaw, kind of like a green tree.
Okay.
So you can kind of see they're at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unique for a python, especially like when you look at like the evolution diversity, because you have like a green tree python and you have an emerald tree boa. So then you have like, you have your giant snakes that kind of are in the same region and inhabit the same areas, but they're boas and pythons. So it's like, she's a python, which generally most of them are on the top front. They're labial pits. These ones are on the bottom and back for a python. That's weird. So it's like, what made them go down here? But they're a python, so they lay eggs, versus boas, which have live young. So it's just like, why did they go through all of that change when other Australian species still have labial pits on the front portion of their snouts, underneath their nostrils? So it's weird when you look at how they adapted and how they evolved. So, which that part to me is just super fascinating. Like, still a python, still part of that family, but they are like the freak of the family,
Right.
Like,
yeah, it's so cool.
You look adopted.
Right. Yeah, just they fill a completely different niche,
Yeah. But yeah, it's just super, super cool species. Again, very, very blessed to have one of these. I think I'm the only one in Arkansas with an olive, so pretty cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Just super unique and
very arboreal, though. I mean, you get that long, slender thing, and like I said, you see a lot of people keep retics in captivity, and they just get them as big as they can. I'm like, that's not the way they're supposed to look. Like, they're not supposed to be fat, like, at all. Like, they're not supposed to look like an anaconda. Like, that is not healthy. Like, you were literally taking 10 years off that snake's life just because it wants to eat. Doesn't mean it should. They don't need giant meals like that. Like, I vary all my snakes. So, like, Jazz, the Jazz and Val. They're my two biggest snakes. Val's a little bit heavier bodied. She's a little bit older than Jazz. You know, a couple times a month or a couple times a year, like I'll feed them a pig. A couple times a month I'll feed them, or a couple times a year I'll feed them a couple rabbits. There's not a lot of rabbit breeders here, so it's like, and the ones that do, they're like, we want $25, and I'm like, no. And so I'll get the biggest colossal double X colossal rats that I can get, you know, and they're, you know, $10, but they're that big. You know, I might feed Jazz one, you know, every 11 to 13 days, and I might feed him 2 months from now, you know. But then I might just like, hey, I got an extra rat. Jazz, I know Jazz will eat it, or I know Val will eat it. She's wanting to say hello. That's the big girl. She's coming out of the shadows.
Yeah, I can see the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's my biggest snake. Heaviest bodied for sure. Jazz is not. But again, he's a male, so it's like he won't get her size. Like he'll probably get a little bit longer than her, but she's still putting on like some of that weight from when she had that parcel litter. And I breed my boas every other year, so it's like I'm not trying to get them back up to weight for the next year like my pythons. Like pythons, no problem. Breeding every year. Boas, I don't breed I breed every other year. So I don't feed her like I do the pythons. Plus boas have smaller or not as fast metabolism, so I don't want them to get overweight too fast. So, but like snakes like this or the carpets, especially the retics, like they're and falsies are there, but she's probably got the fastest metabolism, and maybe my indigo snake, which I won't get him out. He's still new to the collection, and he's still kind of learning me, and I'm still learning him, and so I won't get him out. He's not ready, and I don't want that experience to be something negative, especially with the giant ring light. So I don't want to make that a negative experience, and that's what it's all about, is creating positive experiences with animals, so that way they trust me. Because I mean, I've had her for probably just shy of a year, and we have a pretty good bond. Like she trusts me pretty good, which is pretty crazy for an olive. But yeah,
That's awesome.
She's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, and the prehistoric snake I was thinking of was Gigantophis, which was a 7 to 10 meter.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Snake. Yeah, same family as the Vasuki, but there is Paleophis, which is a prehistoric sea snake that could get up to 12 meters, which would be crazy.
So I've heard of that one. I don't know much about that one. Was that one? Do you think they still projected it to be venomous?
Yeah, I guess it depends on if it's the same family lineage. It probably has a high probability. We would definitely need a skull, which is one of the harder parts to fossilize in a snake.
Yeah.
They're just so fragile.
One is super thin, so.
Yeah. You said you had some other questions that you wanted to.
Yeah, I got some fun questions for you guys.
All right, I like it. I love it. We don't usually get asked questions, so I'm down.
Yeah, so I have it's fun. It's a fun one. What's your guys' take on dragons? Did they exist?
I would say yes.
I'll
argue with both of you. So I have my thoughts too. So Sam, why do you say yes? And then we'll go into Keegan's no.
Why do we say yes?
And then we'll go on I'm interviewing you guys now.
Okay. I don't know. There's been lots of just like ancient script talked about like giants and stuff, like resembling that. Like there's a lot of cultures that talked about like large flying kind of like serpents almost, and like there's a lot of gods that like looked like them too, like Kukulkan and
I like where you're going, because we
Jormungandr is another like giant earth serpent or snake.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of weird stuff behind that, and you know, there's like just like cryptids, there's been so many accounts and like people talking about it, but like there's also that sign that like they couldn't be, but if they were, they were probably around for sure. Like even if we can't find the fossils, that is a rare thing to come across, or they could just be not from our planet and like just came through.
So I'm gonna touch back on my thoughts, because a lot of that I agree with, and then I'll tell you my reasoning why maybe we don't have fossils. But first, Keegan, I want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts?
Yeah, what's your thoughts? Yes,
Well,
no, why not?
so no, I wish they were. There was like a mockumentary, Dragon's World, a fantasy made real. So cool. If
Okay.
you haven't seen it, go watch it. It goes into like there's just so much explanation on what it would take to make a dragon reel. Uh, Going into it though, we don't have fossils, and all the fossils that might be dragons or could have inspired dragons, dinosaurs or other prehistoric animals. Now, a lot of times people point to like paintings and stuff like that and be like, "Oh, look at that! It's a dragon in the distance," and then you realize it was like a giraffe. Like, just the artistry is a little bit different. And there were animal gods of the time, and there was also mythical, like spiritual gods. So
Mm-hmm.
who knows what that was?
Which will be one of my points that I talk about.
Yeah, yeah. So like, you go down where Quetzalcoatl was like a big snake.
He's the famous one.
Yeah, big famous. Definitely their god. Was it all just spiritual? Was it the snake in the sky that they were worshiping? Or did they have like a giant snake that they would come in contact with, maybe just one, and they revered it as a god?
Which again, somewhat same region of maybe an anaconda at the time, maybe overlaps. Of course, we see it today where regions of animals are starting to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So maybe the anaconda inhabited that area at one point. And there's a big one. Like I told you, you have the freak giants. I mean, even today we have people that are 7 feet plus. Sometimes it happens. All right, I want to give you my little take. So, we've talked dinos, we've talked fossils a little bit. As a kid, dragons, mythical creature, right? Mythical creature. Got a little bit older, a little bit more about, a little bit more into reptiles. Dragons are still cool. I didn't learn a little bit more about the fossilization process. Learned about, well, how would a dragon fly? I mean, it had to have hollow bones like a bird. So, no way something that big, it had to have hollow bones just like a bird. So, we talked about like the evolutionary line where things maybe have broken off. So and we know now that things may have feathers. Did dragons have feathers? Was that still part of that break? I was like, so maybe some of the issue why, and at the time is like every major civilization, as far back as we can remember, have talked about flying dragons of some kind, whether they did fly or whether they didn't fly. Every major civilization has talked about some kind of dragon that would have never met. I mean, the Mesoamericans were not talking to the Incas and the Mayans. You did not have the ancient Egyptians talking to people of South Peru. Like you did not have, they weren't talking, but yet they were all seeing something like that. So I was like, they saw something. We can go down the ancient aliens road if we need to. I'll talk aliens. And, but I was like, so they saw something. I mean, but they had to have hollow bones. So, you have something, if you want to break it down to something like that big, and when you look at monitors now, or you look at turtles, like you look at things like they don't have, it takes a long time for them to reproduce. And so, if you have men from the dawn of time have hunted. So, and there's always been people who hunt for sport. They don't hunt for meat, they don't hunt for anything, or they hunt for fear. Did we hunt these things that couldn't hide all that well, maybe to extinction? Or if they were more prehistoric, more during the time of the dinosaurs, maybe a little bit after, did their bones not fossilize very well? And so now we don't have the fossil record of something that people saw, or they just flat out, did we burn the bones? Did they use the bones for something? I don't know. I think there's a couple of different things. Like people saw something, which we have to give credit to still. I mean, back then they drew what they saw. So same thing kind of goes back to aliens. Like what were they seeing flying around in the sky? You know, their first thing was like they drew it. So, but they didn't have an understanding of what it was. Of course, you know, now we have science and we have technology now, but it's just like these people who have nothing to base anything on saw something, and they all resent, and they were very good at drawing animals. So it's like, why would they not draw a dragon?
So,
I don't know.
do you have a
It's a
piece of
fun
paper?
thing for me to think that dragons were existing.
Do you have a piece of paper with you?
Yeah, because I have my questions on it.
Okay. So on that piece of paper, I'm just going to describe real cryptid.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to draw it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay.
Oh gosh. Hold on. Okay. Let's do it.
All right. So it's a two-legged animal that stands kind of upright like a man.
Like a man. Man legs.
Kind of. It has like a deer head.
Okay, hold on, deer head.
Yeah, and this is all actual cryptid description of the time. It's pretty muscular, you know, big muscles.
But it was bipedal.
Yes. It has a tail as well.
Bipedal.
Long tail, almost cat-like. And then the last thing we'll say, not all of them, but sometimes they have these abnormalities around their stomach that look like another head.
Looks like another head?
Mm-hmm.
Like a deer head?
Yes, another deer head.
What kind of arms?
Just like kind of almost human-like, you know, just kind of big muscles, you know, really big thighs and stuff. But this is just the basic kind of description that they come back, you know, from their adventure, you know, expeditions. Like, what are your thoughts on this cryptid you drew? Knowing it's a real cryptid description.
That's weird.
Now, what if I tell you you can probably go to a zoo and pet one?
No, it's a kangaroo.
It's a kangaroo. But see, that's what
I can drew a kangaroo.
Yeah. See? But that's the thing. Like,
Dang.
obviously, in the native languages, they knew what those were, right? But when
I was drawing that, I was like, what?
What is this, right? We do it so many times because there's so many of these weird cryptids, and when we do our like college things where we go and we talk to kids at colleges, that's one of the little things we do because it's fun, you know, gets people thinking. But yeah,
I liked it. That was a fun exercise.
Yeah, kangaroos were cryptids, and it makes you say, okay. So in my mind, I wasn't picturing a kangaroo; I was just thinking of a cryptid, and it just got muddled in translation. You know,
So,
the Akapi was another one that was a cryptid.
A capybara?
No, the Okapi from Africa.
Oh, the zebra horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you said cappy. I was like, man, I want a capybara as a pet so bad.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. They can scratch. I've seen what they do.
I know. I just still want one. But yeah, no, speaking of that, back home, these people had like zebras and stuff. I drove past an okapi every single day going to school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, that was an animal I knew early on in my life.
Yeah. It's not quite up there with anaconda, but it's close on my favorite animal tier list that I got going on.
Yeah, because it's a giraffe. It's related to a giraffe.
Yeah. Well, you know what the closest living relative to giraffes and okapis are, right? It lives in the United States. You go out west, you might see them running around.
Like a pronghorn?
A pronghorn. If you actually
That
look
makes,
at the, yeah, if
that
you
makes
look at
sense.
the, yeah, look at the skeletons, and it's almost like a progression of the neck getting longer, the head getting a little bit shorter, because there was some prehistoric, like giraffes is just the easiest way to describe them.
Yeah.
They weren't all true giraffes. They had big like antlers like moose. Some were like flat. There was some that looked like Pachycephalosaurus where they could butt heads, but they're giraffe antelope
Hmm.
looking things. Yeah.
I will say, like, someone like the prehistoric mammals look just goofy.
Oh, go to before the dinosaurs. Like there's some animals, like I forget the name. I'll have to find it, but big old muscle body, and then like the smallest head you've ever seen. Like it doesn't look like it should be real, but it is. And
Huh.
see, so for me, like when I look at cryptids, that's kind of like my thing is what were they seeing? I think they saw something.
Yeah.
I put
Because
a lot
that's
more.
what we talked about with when I was on Matt's. And, you know,
Mhm.
they're talking cryptids I've never even heard, which I'm not in the cryptid community. We started talking about like the like the wheel snake and
Oh, the hoop snake, or
yeah, the hoop snake. And I was like, I've seen that before. Like I've seen it, but I was like, it's and so he brought on someone who has a first hand witness. And I was like, I know a lot about snakes, and to have a venomous tail, like I was listening to it, and I was just like, and this guy, we were on the phone with him, and he was very adamant. He saw it in Kentucky, and I was like, I mean, I'm not going to discredit what he saw, and the fact that and like I said, and I even said it in the interview. I was just like, these things were apparently actively hunted during the colonization of America. So I was like, I mean, we hunt things to extinction all the time.
Mhm.
Are they
Yeah,
still in small pockets? I don't know. I've never seen one.
yeah. See, for me, the cryptids I think are more interesting. Like Bigfoot, it's not super hard to imagine like a big ape out there, especially because every other continent outside of Antarctica has
Has
giant
great
big
apes.
apes. Yeah,
Yeah.
except for
I've
North
always wondered
America,
that as a kid. I'm just like, why don't we have monkeys of some kind?
right?
Maybe we
It's
got
odd.
squirrels. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
When we were still
Mammals and
temperate rainforested areas,
mhm,
like
yeah, the Pacific Northwest, beautiful rainforest up there.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I've been to Alaska. Like,
Yeah,
it's dense.
yeah, uh, yeah. But mammals, my there's so many dinosaur ones. I love covering them, but they're very outdated notions, like of the time descriptions of dinosaurs that don't
Yeah.
match our current understanding, and that's where you're like, there's one I'll have to send you. It's called the Kasai Rex. It's clearly fake. There's like multiple like pictures of it that they hoaxed at the time. All they had to do was cut out a lizard, a monitor lizard, superimpose it on top of a rhino, and then say it was a dinosaur, and people are like, "Yep." I'll send it to you at some point. But
Yeah.
as far as dragons, I would love it. I just haven't seen anything to sway me. Now, if someone gave me evidence that was like, yeah,
No, and for sure.
that's a
And
dragon, yeah,
I mean, I do get that. I just,
yeah,
and, your little exercise was fun. That was fun. I don't think I feel like I just definitely got duped just for a second. And I was like,
hey,
what? And
at one
so
point, kangaroos were cryptids. We found them, and now they're not. We
well,
see them
now
in zoos.
now it does make me think. Cause like I've met a lot of Matt's friends in his community, and, they're very involved in the crypto. And I was like, well, now I want to draw some more and like see if, cause at first I was like, this is a kangaroo. And like, yeah, so it makes you wonder, and it's just like, I'm like I said, I'm big on proof. Like, I'm a realist. Looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, is a duck, and
Hmm.
that's how I just look at life in general. But and that's one thing, like with Forrest, I was just like, I like how he thinks. He was like, we still have people seeing it. We're still getting, the crappy pictures, but he's like, there's still the reliable food. There's still the uninhabited areas. Like, they're small pockets. He's like, we're doing it with things that we know are still living. So I was like, I like his thought. And I was like, one day I'm going to meet Forrest. Like, I will do it.
We'll make it happen because I want to meet in Forest too.
Let's do it. Hey, man, it's a big goal of mine. Like, I mean, he is someone I very much respect in my world. So,
yeah,
yeah.
No, Extinct or Alive. I love that show. I read his book too, which was fascinating. But like you said, I love the way he goes about it. And I see a lot more of that now with like the cryptid world, like trying to take it. You have the other TV shows, and I know which Sam knows which one I'm talking about, which just makes it, yeah, Mountain Monsters. But they just like it feels like a Scooby Doo episode, you know?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of TV like that. I mean, it's a scripted. It's not real. It's not even reality TV. I mean, it's scripted.
Right. But yeah, with dragons, I definitely think. I mean, they could have seen something, but then again, you're like, how much of it was metaphysical? Like, how much of
I mean,
it
they were
was
all
real?
smoking that crazy jungle hash, so it's like
that can do stuff. Well, look up the Haas
I
Eagle.
mean, Keegan, you have a personal experience about seeing a dragon, though.
I did see a dragon one time.
They are real. I got a mini dragon right here.
I have a bearded dragon. Yeah, so look up the Haast Eagle at some point.
The what eagle?
Haast. It's Haast. Lived in New Zealand, I believe, and ate moas, giant moas. It was a giant eagle. But imagine, yeah, these eagles were massive. Let's see.
I feel like I've heard this story because, like, yeah, I feel like I've heard of that because I mean I know what a moa is.
Yeah, and so they're talking about like bringing back the moa, and so everyone's like, "Are you going to bring back the Haast Eagle as well?" Like, you need one.
Yeah.
Did you follow that?
Bring back dire wolves. Let's bring back some, and now they want to bring back the dodo bird. I'm like, no, it had its
dodo bird didn't die that long ago, though.
No, and at least we still have dodos. We like it's weird. Like all these big birds are related to like small little birds that are still alive. So we do have living descendants. Like with mammoths, their closest woolly mammoths, closest living relative or closest living relative. I keep wanting to say like elephant is the Asian elephant, whereas like the dire wolf isn't even a canine. But for some reason, we're like mixing it with gray wolves, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like this,
which is like, you know, and it went back to the Jurassic Park thing. It's like you filled in the gene the gene sequence with the only wolf really, and then you just picked traits, which is Jurassic Park really all in itself. Which, I mean, you picked the blocky head, and you picked the terrifying parts to make something that doesn't survive. I was like, which was going to come with negative consequences. You're going to get something now that's, you brought back a super predator that has no natural predator. And then you have no idea once the animal hits maturity, what it's even going to be like. Are you going to chop its nuts off? Or we produce all girls? You know, life's not going to find a way. But it's just like there's going to be things that we don't know because you brought back an extinct species that's filled in with something that shouldn't be there. So it's like we didn't learn from a fake movie.
Right. Yeah, you feel like after so many we would learn. At some point I'm going to do a video on the dire wolf.
That'd be. I mean, I'm definitely watching that. So I mean, I've already subscribed to y'all, so I'm gonna watch that one.
Yeah. So here's Paleoar of what it's Aeon Scion dirus. It's not Canis dirus. They've done more studies, but this is probably more likely what a dire wolf would have looked like, and it's wolf in name only, kind of like we have the American cheetah, but it's really just a mountain lion that looks like a cheetah, which is super cool. That's why pronghorns are super fast, is we used to have these like mountain lions that were evolved to run them down, and we had like these hyenas that were like long-legged hyenas that were super fast. So that's where, like, you know, some of the cryptid ones are interesting, especially like mammals that aren't super long ago. I'm like, yeah, I could still see them like living. Like I know Forrest talked a lot about ground sloths in South America.
He talks about ground sloths a lot.
Yeah, and I was like,
He
I want
thinks
to.
they're alive. He still thinks they're out there.
Yeah, and there's some parts of South America you can't get to, and I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
super
could see it,
uninhabited and it's not habited. Like, I mean, it's rough, and I hope he finds it.
right?
But that's the thing is like you go to some of these places where you know, I mean, if there was the megafauna there, these giants that may be hiding out. I mean, that would be the only way these giants would be still out there is if they have the prey to do so. So, but I
Did you
mean,
watch the video where he talked to somebody that like said they had a thylacine? I think it was in Papua New Guinea, and they ate it.
like recently.
Yeah, I'll find the episode, and he was just like, I was so sad, like.
I mean, because that'd be super sad. I mean, something that is, extinct. Which we are getting better and better footage, and but they're still shit. And
Hmm.
I would love for the Tasmanian tiger to still be out there. To see the thylacine, like that would be super cool. Like for me, that's always an animal. I was like, that thing's wicked looking. Doesn't even look like it should be alive. Like, yeah, I would personally love, like, that's what the animal I want to see come back.
Yeah,
So,
no, and that one we have living relatives still for the thylacine, so we could do the DNA stuff. It wouldn't be too wonky there. If you want some fun cryptid or UFO stories, because I know you said you were kind of interested, our buddy John we met him in Roswell. He actually works with the Historical Society, but he's collected stories from like Wild West, early 1920s, 1800s, but they're called like cowboys and saurians as the cryptid ones. And then cowboys and UFOs, I want to say, or early 20th century UFOs is one. And it's really easy to read because they're just like small little stories, like 5-6 pages.
yeah,
So you don't even have to like sit down and read a whole book. That's what I like about them. But I definitely recommend them if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
I am. I mean, I like ghost stuff. I love
Mhm.
UFO stuff. I'm I'm not closed minded to think that we're the only living rock in the middle of nothing and or everything. I can't get behind that. I think that, I know not every solar system has a planet equally different from a sun or whatever their sun is. Like,
But
I'm not
mathematically,
that small
somewhere,
minded.
yeah,
There's no way.
somewhere
The
there's got to
vastness
be.
of everything, we're not the only living rock out there.
Right. If it's infinite, there's got to be more. Yeah.
There's no way. Now, I have never once said, and I have said this on a lot of podcasts, a lot of Instagram lives. I'm not saying they look like us in the slightest. I guarantee that there's living rocks out there with some kind of hominid that is way behind. But not to say there's not things that are way advanced either. So, and especially with Threat Atlas coming up, I'm curious to see where that's going to happen. I mean, the Pentagon's already said that there's aliens. So, I,
Yeah.
I'm not, and I was raised in a church, and my views changed. So, for me to think that we're the only living thing out there when we have microorganisms that can live in lava or these pools, these, like, these, no, there's now that, now they're saying it's like some of the old life forms that we found on Mars, the stuff that looks like leopard print is probably just microbacteria. It's probably like a form of lichen that is just baked into a rock now. That got put out, like, I think last week. That the leopard form was probably just like some kind of lichen or a mossy kind of, or just flat out bacteria. So I think that's cool, because they were saying, like, they can see that there used to be water at some point, dried up riverbeds and lakes and stuff like that. So I was just like, Mars was clearly a little bit closer into the rotation than it used to be.
Mhm.
However long ago that may have been, like us and Earth might have been doing this around the same tango. So, and something happened. I don't know.
See, and all this conversation came from dragons. Look at that. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I love dragons. I love dragon movies. I would love nothing more than them to be real, but biologically speaking. But after watching Dragon's World of Fantasy made real, you're like, yeah, I could see like they be real. I know it's all fake and stuff there, but they do such a good job at like explaining like even how the fire works. And like I will send
Yeah.
you that because I think you can watch it free on YouTube. So I'll
Well,
find
did you watch the new How to Train Your Dragon?
I watched a little bit of it because my sister is a big fan.
It has the little sparks, and then
Mm-hmm. Well, see,
I thought that was kind of a cool way of thinking about it.
in Dragon's World, and I forget what they eat, but they would actually go eat a type of mineral, and when it would interact with oxygen, it would ignite.
Combust.
Yeah.
I mean, poison dart frogs. They're not poison. They're not poisonous in captivity, except for a freaking ant that they eat in South America. So it's like you remove a certain kind of food item, maybe. Like I said, were they? Probably not. But I can't say that they couldn't. They couldn't have been based on.
There's always a possibility because we don't have time machines. We can't go back and 100% see. I mean, we don't have time machines that I know of, but
like I said, I don't know. There's so many people think that some of these cryptids are out there. I was like, so it's like you can't say no.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we've talked with lots of cryptid people, and I definitely want to get out and do some cryptid investigations because, like, it's fascinating.
You need to link up with Matt.
Yeah,
like actively link up like that guy. Like, I'm gonna be at his house on Friday, just hanging out. He travels, man, and like when he not gonna get into personal stuff, but I met a lot of his friends recently. I thought it was kind of cool just kind of sit back and listen, and I was like, don't ask for my advice because I don't know much about this stuff like you guys do. So, but I'm down to listen. But it was, it was funny, and it was kind of cool to kind of not be the one talking.
yeah. No, we talked to Matt. He's great. I enjoyed talking to him. We'll definitely have him more on our show, and hopefully we can do some collabs with him. But yeah, we've met some really like awesome people that are like super level-headed and like really like research-wise, and you're like, okay, this is like what we need. Like we need just some like more like scientific people going out and doing that.
Yeah,
that's what helps the field, and it's good to have like
for sure. And like and I'm not trying to like because like in my world we're very divided. So you have like your exotic keepers, and you have your native keepers, and you have your exotic keepers, and then you have and it's almost degrading, but it's just like in my world, it's just like if I'm on Facebook or something like that, and they're nicknamed the Petco keepers because like they have a ball python and bearded dragon. Like I said, I used to breed them, so I can talk about bearded dragon. But it's just like you have these people who've had like maybe 2 reptiles, and they think that they're the pro on it. And I don't comment I'm in the Facebook groups. I just don't. And I sit back and I watch all these people that think that they have all this experience because they've had this, and I'm just like, and then I know that's in your community too, and it's like you have these people, and I was like, it's kind of annoying when I was like, you've had 2 animals. I was like, I actually wrote down, I work with 26 currently right now, 26 species, and including subspecies. I work with 32 subspecies. Or 30, and if you break that down between the subspecies of the 32, I will have 32 total. And it's like, and I've worked with 86 species professionally, and I've been doing this for a long time. And it's funny when they're like, I might comment occasionally, and they're like, you don't know nothing, and then usually not long after, I was like, you do know who this is, right? And they're like, Connor knows what he's talking about, and they'll be like, "Oh man, so then I'll get a private message. So so what?" And then they're really intrigued, and I'm like, "No, you just tried talking shit on me, like, and you don't know who I am. Like, I can't go into Petco without being bombarded sometimes. Like, I think I know what I'm talking about. Like, there's the meme. There's that meme with that guy with the mustache and the beard, and he walks into Home Depot. And he's like, "How can I help you today, sir?" He's like, "I know more than you." And so it's like, I try not to have that mentality, but because I mean I was a newbie at one point, but it's funny when I see the new keepers and they try to be the. It's like, man, it's like one day you'll be there.
Right.
But right now, you're probably not the best person to be giving advice for someone who is needing more help than a simple, like something that needs to be talking to a vet or someone who's literally been in this case with thousands. I've been to the vets thousands of times. I mean, I've had thousands of animals over 20 something years of keeping, like between producing and buying and, trading. And, I mean, I have multiple of each species and, I've seen it all. And then at the same time, I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a lot. So, it's, I hate that, but.
Yeah, no, it's, in the paleo world, it can get very divided. I think the second easiest example, because dinosaur lips is probably number one. Nano Tyrannus, we'll just divide the room because you'll have people that say it's a juvenile Tyrannosaurus.
Okay, I've heard that. I've heard this argument before. I have heard this one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
probably
definitely
the baby.
Yeah, and I'm definitely on it's a juvenile Tyrannosaurus side. But when they did the recent paperwork, and it'll go back and forth because it's got to get peer reviewed. I did a video and I didn't say any of my views, and the paleontologist that wrote the paper said it was the best video he saw on YouTube. And I was like, that is the biggest compliment I think I've ever gotten. Like, just for you to be like, yeah. With UFOs, let me tell you. If you want to talk apparent, like the cryptid world, they're getting along. They're usually pretty good. Like I haven't had too many issues there. Ghost world is getting better. UFOs, they will destroy each other before like even trying to help each other. It is wild. It is worse than politics. It is wild.
Yeah, and I was a president, and I was the social media coordinator for our state herpetological society. I was very involved. Like I said, I was the president for a year, a little bit longer than a year, and then the social media guy. And man, it got toxic. Like it got so toxic. I had not been to a single meeting in 7 months. It got that divided, and a lot of the OGs are, they're out of the, they might come to the meeting once, every so many months, or they might come to the herp show, or they might watch a live occasionally, but it's just like a lot of the OGs, are not with us. And so you get some of these, you get the Petco keepers who think that they're, like I'm becoming one of the OGs now, because like I've made a name for myself and I've been consistent in the hobby, and people look up to me, which is awesome. I will give it. I will answer every question, no matter how newbie it is, like, and that's one thing I try to pride myself with my customer service. I will answer every single question every day. Because I don't want the reptile world, especially with Arkansas, where so many, like the game and fish laws here are insane. And I want to try to have build those positive connections, make the hobby not so toxic, and where you have each community coming at each other. And like, it got to a point I just had to remove myself, and that's not where I wanted it. And back when I was president, that's not how it was. And even when I was I was still an officer, but it's just like I was just putting out content. Like every Friday, I put Fun Fact Friday. There's fun facts, stuff for kids to get. Like I was trying to get the kids involved, and so like I make I already do TikToks now, so I was filming content, and I was filming each Herp Society meeting. I was filming it all, trying to get the best of the highlights, put a little video, put some fun music. I mean, and then it got to a point it was just so toxic. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm not getting paid for this. It's no longer fun. And like in the group chat, it just got messy, and I was like, I'm done. Done. And I'm so ready for like this year's group to maybe, and we can restart. But it got bad, and it just it's like something else. It was supposed to be for fun, and we're supposed to like relaunch the Herp Society and start proving some of these legislation that the Game and Fish has put out to be like overpowering. Like you're heavy thumbing like we're not Florida, like, and they're using a lot of Florida Fish and Wildlife regulations here in Arkansas. I'm like, it's completely different ecosystem. Like, not going to survive. Like, I have realistically 0 animals that will survive here, but they think my anacondas will. I'm like, really? Like, you're telling me somewhere where the coldest it gets is like 82 degrees, 100% humidity, and the only difference is rainy season and dry season. Same temperatures, just rainy and not. You think it's going to survive here? No.
Yeah, in the winter? No.
No. Where we get ice, not snow. We get ice, and we get ice for a long time. Like, get out.
Yeah, they're not alligators. Like, come on.
Oh, and if you want to talk alligators, so back in the 70s, now this was recent. They finally admitted they imported alligators because technically alligators are not a native species here in Arkansas. They are now. They weren't. They were not. They were not always a native species here, and they say that they were. Yet, when they imported them in the 70s for beaver control, they did not know that the American alligator was the only crocodilian species that can survive a full freeze. As long as its nostrils stick out, it will survive a freeze. As long as it can breathe. It can be completely frozen and solid ice. As long as its nose is out, it will survive. It's like, so you're telling me this thing that's been native that wouldn't survive here, that you knew that you only brought in the spring and early summer to eradicate a lot of these beavers, and you didn't think that they were going to survive, and for 20 years you said that they were native, but they're not, and we still have alligators. Yeah, I don't know. Things, some of their research to me doesn't make sense when they're not supposed to be here, but they are native species. But you know, they didn't get them from here because we don't have any alligators here. But now we do because they're protected and they survive. So I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. But I abide by the game and fish. You know, I don't want to lose this. You know, these are my animals. Like, I've raised them. Like, these are my kids. You know.
Right.
And especially with, you know, with Monty and Jazz and stuff. It's like Spar I've had since 2 months old. Spar's like 11 or 12 years old now. Like, Scarlet I've had since she was like 6 months old, and she's 9. And yeah, like, I've raised a lot of these animals since they were babies, not just 2 years old, you know, 3 years old. I'm like, that would suck.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, every time I do a zoo, every time I do any kind of education, like, I have the list of prohibited and non-prohibited. Like, I had to make sure these frogs, I just got frogs for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but like, I got exotic frogs for the first time. I had to make sure that these were legal, just because like the frog ban here is so insane. But not to get off topic.
Yes. Well, before we leave off and before we do like telling everyone where to go, you asked us movies. So now I want to ask you, what's your favorite snake movie? And are you going to be front row line up for that re-release remake of Anaconda coming out in December with Jack Black and Paul Rudd?
No. Nor did I like the first Anaconda.
Yeah, I know.
I liked it as a kid. I liked it as a kid. I don't know if I'll ever rewatch that movie ever again. It's, again, you're talking about my favorite species and how badly they ruined it. That movie sparked fear for no reason. 1, doesn't move like that. 2, eyes don't look like that. 3, not that fast. Can't climb trees. Oh, it's got the 10% mark. Everything about that movie was ate up. So, no, I will not be pre-ordering tickets. I will watch that when it's free online or at home.
I don't even know if I'll watch that when it's free.
I literally saw the ad for that today, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah. Well, before we end off, you know, I'm sure we got a lot of people here interested in where they can keep up with your adventures. So where can people go to keep up with you, your adventures, help support everything you're doing?
Yeah, so I mean, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So on Facebook, it's Russ Vegas Reptiles, RUSS Vegas Reptiles, and on Instagram, it's at Russ Vegas Reptiles LLC, and then on TikTok, it's at Russ Vegas Reptiles, all one word. And I'm very active on there. I post almost every single day. Post my stories. You can interact with me, send me, ask me questions. You can ask for any availability. I do have babies available, from geckos to snakes, all sorts of stuff.
Well, thank you again for joining. I'll make sure to be a good host and try to put all the links in the description below. And
Appreciate it.
yeah, we'll definitely do this again. Maybe we'll break down some movies or something as well at some point.
Yeah, and we'll try to get some of the big snakes out too.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. I love anacondas. So
Yeah, we'll definitely get Jazz out. We'll get Jazz out for sure.
So once again, Sam and I want to say thank you to Connor for joining us on this really awesome episode of Cool's Interviews. Because, I mean, anacondas, as you guys know, definitely one of my favorite animals of all time. So this one was super exciting for me. Make sure to go down to the description below and check out all the links for Russ Vegas Reptiles. And yeah, definitely keep an eye out. He will be returning at some point, I am sure. And until next time, guys, for more Cool's Interviews, click that link to your left. For more about us here at Cool's Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And being that we talk snakes, what's your favorite type of snake? Tell us in the comments below.